Here we go again, part 2 of the video taken at INGATESTONE Hall. And here we have a little metro van. I know you'd say, what's this doing at a classic car show, but when was the last time you saw one? 1985. They were very, very basic, as all vans were in those days. They weren't giving any sort of professional delivery drivers any frills, so it was all very basic. An old series Land Rover. Not sure what it is. Series 2, I would think. When I worked in garages, we had a Series 2 long wheelbase with a Harvey Frost crane on it. Very similar to set up to that. And here we have a Triumph Roadster, or known as the Bergerac car. Again, remember these first time round, 1979. Datsun 160J. I'm going to now pan round to the outside of the field, going back the way I came. Another series Land Rover. And Bedford CF. Always a pain to work on. I remember these had a canted over engine mounted between us, or under the dash basically, so you could get some of it from under the bonnet and some of it from inside, and they were always a bit fiddly to work on. Vauxhall Viva HA, the first Viva they made. A reliable little thing. And next to it, its successor, the HB Viva. And here we have a Lotus. Looks like an XL from this distance because it's 4-seater. They did an Eclat with the same body shell, but was only 2-seaters. This is my sort of thing as well. Not sure what you'd call this, but it's actually a Bentley T, which is the Bentley version of the Silver Shadow shape, but because this is 2-door, it would be a Bentley version of the Rolls-Royce Corniche. Again, very nice. Very, very nice. Nice little thing there. Bit lost in. Another MGB Roadster, 1974. As you can see, you think this is 9 years younger than the MGB I featured earlier. This would be one of the very last of the chrome bumper ones, 1974-ish. But you see the body shell didn't really change much over the years. And here's the GT version, 1968-ish. And I know that colour is teal blue because I had the V8 version myself many years ago. So just crossing over here, MGA. And another MGA right next to it. A classic old B series engine that went right through to be powered right up to some of the late Sherpa vans and MGBs, Austin Cambridges, loads of cars had that in it. Even the Morris 1800 had a transverse version of it. Here's a MG Midget. Cars close to my heart. My very first car was a 64, which I understand is still in existence. Now this sort of thing's getting more and more popular. There's a Sunbeam Talbot, and that to me looks original. It hasn't been it hasn't been resprayed, it hasn't had any chrome work done. The archetypical barn find looks like it's just been pushed out of a barn and being used, and this is getting very, very popular. And I can see why, because it's quite, anyone can sort of spend money on a car and have it looking pristine. How many people can find a car like that that just looks like it's been in daily use? Now this is a Van den Pla version of the 1100 shape. I'm just going to nip round quick and see if we can see inside, because if I'm not mistaken, these had quite a nice wooden dashboard in them. Oh, there you go. The wood actually needs refurbishing, but as you can see, in their time, called Van den Pla because obviously they were a very old established coach builders. How about that then? Thunderbird. 63-ish, that's what the registration number tells me. Lovely, absolutely lovely. There's another sort of car I have worked on. A Bristol a Bristol 2 litre. I remember being warned when I worked on these to be very careful when you're working under the bonnet, leaning on the wings, because they're aluminium, and if you put your elbows on them, they have a dent in them. So we were always warned to be very careful to work on these. If I remember rightly, straight 6 engine. I think it was Bristol's own engine. But yep, again, very nice. Here we have a 66, now called the Classic Mini, because obviously we've got the more modern BMW version that's also called a Mini, so these now get the name Classic Mini. I've got a soft spot for them as well. Dad had a minivan many years ago. Wish I'd have kept that. They're worth a lot of money now. And nice old 69 Morris Minor. Morris Minors, so many of them still left on the road. And very, very reliable and very good to drive, because although they had drum brakes, that was probably the one stumbling block. You did have to stand on them a bit sometimes, especially if you put cheap brake shoes on. But they had rack and pinion steering, which was quite innovative at that time. So they're actually a very, very nice car to drive, considering how far back they went. And a version of what this show's all about, a Daimler V8 250, 1965. Not as popular as the Jaguar Mark II, with the same body shell. But again, a nice car in their own right. Have a little sneaky peek inside. Yep, this one's automatic. How about that? Lovely stylish old interior. And again, it's nice because you can see some of the carpets a little bit worn in places, there's a little mark on the seat. It's just, it hasn't been got at. It's all nice and original looking. Had paintwork, but even so, nicely done. And now we go round to a bit of American glam. 57 Thunderbird. Got a friend with one of these, and his is a 56, which is the only year they put the spare wheel on the rear bumper. And he's actually got a record player as an optional extra mounted under the dash. But yeah, very popular little convertible of their time. And coming round to where I started the first video with our neighbours with their lovely little Rover 12. So I'm going to end this video now and continue round to the other side of our car and do a third video. Thanks very much. Back again, video number 4 at INGATESTONE Hall, Daimler Lanchester Owner Club Great Eastern Rally 2016. Starting off with another beautiful Thunderbird 1966. So you can see how the style's changed in quite a short while from the Thunderbird I videoed earlier. So just moving along this road, we've got a couple of SP250s again, or darts. It gives you a nice idea of the rear view and the dashboard on this one. And next to it, Triumph Spitfire 1500. The same Triumph 1500 engines they fitted in loads of other models at that time. Again, the car show's never complete without a Morris Minor there, and this one's no exception. There's another one, 1969 Morris Minor 1000, called the 1000 even though they had a 1098cc engine in them. Nice. So I'm just going to dart through a gap here so that we don't look at the backs. This, I had one of these myself. This is a Marcos. Pretty sure that is a Manchula, which is what I had. Not sure what engine this one's got in it. Oh, it's a 1600 GT, so it would have had a Ford overhead valve Kent engine in it. I was fortunate enough to have a Manchula with a Rover V8 in it. I'm just going to nip to the end of this queue. Next to us, lovely old van. I like this. Again, these are a bit fiddly to work on because it's a Bedford CA, and to get to the engine you had a tiny little bonnet on the front there, as you can see, but also you had a hump in the middle between the seats that you had to take out to work on it as well. So when we used to do tappets and things like that, you used to have to do 4 of them from the front and 4 of them from the back. So not the easiest little van to work on, but a nice old thing to drive. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's an A55. Austin A50, or it's a Morris. So they call it an Oxford, Morris Oxford 71. With a nice pop-up on it as a camper. And this little one, if I remember rightly, the chap who owns it, family business was Wife and Sloper, the milk people, and pretty sure he gets invited to go to Goodwood and has to deliver Lord March's milk to the house in the mornings as well. Another Daimler SP250. Nice to see a few of these around as well. Fiberglass bodies. They had 3 series in them, and the very first one, they used to have problems with them cracking, and then they put a steel brace in the bulkhead to try and stiffen them up a bit, but then that used to suffer with corrosion, so they were always a bit of a problem to keep nice. Just going to spin round again and go past where I cut through where the Marcos is. A nice little early 30s or a 30s Ford. Not sure, it's going to be a Model Y, something like that I would think again. A nice little Ginetta. Ginetta's still going, but mainly in race form now, and I remember speaking to a gentleman at a show recently who had a different model of Ginetta, and I asked him how many were still around, and he said that there's more on the racetrack now than there are on the road. 82 Mercedes convertible. And there's a thoroughbred Ferrari Dino 73. Lovely. I had the pleasure of looking after one of these when I used to work in an independent garage in the 80s. We used to have to, it was a 308 quadrupole, no, not quadrupole, quattro valve. Used to work on. Here we go. Same sort of thing I've got, 19, whatever it is, late 50s Prefect. 1172. Side valve engine. 3-speed gearbox, vacuum wipers. It's hard to believe that something this small. I used to go on holiday with Mum and Dad and brother down to the West Country every year, with all the luggage on the roof rack and in the boot. But yeah, we used to make it, and we used to get there and get back. All good fun. TR something or other. 4A, TR4, something like that. Lovely old car. There we go. Triumph Vitesse. This is the 2-litre Vitesse, so it's got the straight 6 engine in. Remember the first time I drove one of them and couldn't believe how quick it was. Another 1946 Roadster, or Bergerac car as they're known. I've actually got one of these that was used in drag racing at Santapod, believe it or not. I might well do a video of that one day, just to give a little talk about that and its history that I found out. O'Reilly, Probably an RM, one of the RM models, RME or something like that. Again, quite well made, nice quality car. Very plush wooden leather inside. Out of Morris Minor. All nice and standard, lovely under the bonnet there.
I'm having trouble with better Lanchester.
Is that, you'll know, is that a Lanchester there? The maroon and grey one there?
Don't you sold it?
Yep, lovely.
Oh, I'll put that down as
Very,
best
very
Lanchester.
nice,
I couldn't
mate.
find a Lanchester.
One there,
on
the corner. There's one over there next to
There's not many of them though, is there?
two, I don't get many.
Another nice 69 Mark II Cortina. 4-door, looks like that could well be either a 1600E or a GT because it's got a kick up in the dashboard that would traditionally have had 4 clocks in it. Yeah, there we go. How about that? Lovely. Motor Lita steering wheel. Very nice. Very, very nice. And another derivative of the old 1100 body shape, an MG version. I do believe Ruth had one of these when she was younger. Here we go. Our times have changed for these. Mark 1 Cortina GT. It's done in Lotus colours, but I can see the GT badge on the back in 1967, 68ish. Very, very sought after now. The GT engine was a 1500 overhead valve Ford lump. If I'm right, it was very last of the pre-crossflow engines. The 1500 engine was better than the 1200 they used. The 12s used to suffer with crank problems. Yeah, very nice car. Well done that man. Who owns that? And here we have little Lotus. I believe that's an Esprit, not an Esprit, Elise. I've actually been round Mallory and something like that, Mallory Park and Brands. And they absolutely stick to the road like glue. I'm just going to pan round, show you where I'm going to be starting next time. Nice old Lanchester. I think that's an LD10, if I'm not very much mistaken. These really used to suffer with corrosion problems, so it's nice to actually see an example out. So I'm just going to end this video here and then restart again with the next row.